All right, guys, let's get started. So who's here from, oh, what's up, kid? What's up, brother? Who's here Figueroa team? So most of you guys. Okay, so is everybody in the room with EXP? Anybody not with EXP? You guys in the back? Where are you guys from? Casa Empire? Where did you hear about it? On Facebook? Yeah? Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Cool, so my Facebook event works, so cool. So, so I put that out there like, it was like, maybe people will show up, but that's awesome. We could talk a little bit after. So cool, welcome guys. So we're gonna talk today about literally my favorite subject of all time, which is, oh, FedEx, what's up? Which is getting rich, right? That's my favorite subject of all time. And actually, we're gonna talk about becoming wealthy, which is a different thing. But I always like to joke, there's this comedy special we were watching the other day, it's this Asian comedian, and they were saying that the Chinese culture is so enamored with getting rich that in their new year, they don't say Happy New Year. They say, hope you get rich. That's their line. It's like, hope you get rich. And so like, me and my girl always joke around when people say like, hey, I'm having another baby. And I'm like, hope you get rich. It's like, hey, I'm getting married. I'm like, hope you get rich. You know, because here's the deal. Like I joke around about that, but to me, this is a very, very serious subject. And the reason I'm talking to you about this today, because I know most of you guys are with EXP, is because it doesn't matter about learning about the EXP model unless you have the right mindset. Because if not, then it's just another real estate company. And that's fine. You can do real estate anywhere. Okay. But you have to have the right mindset in order to really take advantage of the model. You won't ever take advantage of it unless you shift the way you think about things. And by the way, what I'm teaching you today is not a real estate specific thing. You need to be thinking about this, okay? And to me, it's not a joke at all, right? Because he might say, hope you get rich, but hope is not a strategy, okay? Hope is not a strategy. And here's what I mean by that is, you know, like I have a mom, she's getting older, and here's the reality of it. She's probably gonna have more life than money. And that's a problem. Matter of fact, that's a problem we all might have unless we start thinking about these principles I'm going to talk about right now. If you don't shift your mind right now, you're going to have a problem. You're going to end up having more life than money, and that's a bad place to be. It's just a bad place to be. And here's the problem with it. This is the reason like people don't become wealthy, is because you have to start thinking about stuff now that's going to affect you 20 years from now. Right? That's why people keep smoking cigarettes. Is anybody in contention about the fact that cigarettes cause cancer and anybody dispute this? But there's people you know that smoke cigarettes. You know why they keep smoking it? It's because the consequences don't come for 20 years. Trust and believe, if you smoked a cigarette and the next day you had cancer, you'd do something about it, wouldn't you? But you don't, because the consequences don't come till later on. Right? So this is a subject that's near and dear to me, and I don't think anybody in here is independently wealthy yet, including myself. But I'm telling you, you have to start now. You have to start building wealth mindsets right freaking now, because this is what I believe. I always say I can be inappropriate since most of you guys are with the crew. So I say any asshole can get rich, only a few become wealthy. Getting rich isn't that hard. Matter of fact, we know a lot of people, you can win the lottery and get rich. But what do they say about people who win the lottery? And usually within how much time? A year, 5 years? Why is that? How do you get rich and then get broke? Because you didn't change your mindset. You had a broke mindset and somebody handed you a ton of money. Okay? You could inherit money. You can get money from your daddy. Our president did, right? 400 million. But any asshole can get rich, but becoming wealthy is different because you have to become somebody different. This is the trick. You actually have to change who you are in order to become wealthy, because you have to have certain principles in place in order to do that. So who knows this? Oh, let me let your people in real quick. I see them waiting. Melissa's the one that was trying to get in? Okay, she in. So who's seen this story? Who knows this story? Chase, tell me what this story signifies. Yeah, like what's the story about?
So yeah, so you got the hair, which is pretty speedy, right? Taking time, at least it's quick, so you can kind of wait a little bit.
Yeah. Am I right? You see how you like he gave me the answer first. He's like, I'm right, right? Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Consistency is super important. You know, the rabbit hops around. One thing that happens a lot to you guys in real estate is you hop from thing to thing, right? And really consistency is the key when it comes to this. I tell that to the agents all the time. Consistency is the key. It's consistency. There's no magic pill. I'm not going to give you some kind of lead source that's going to make you rich. It's your consistent effort every single day, okay? Because dabblers don't get rich or get well or become wealthy, okay? But this story always bothered me, right? Because I didn't quite know what the meaning of the story was, Chase. I thought, you know, I was like, to me, it was a story about speed. Like, I never quite understood it. I'm like, how is the turtle going to beat the hare? And the hare is faster. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I used to have this British business partner that used to say, slow and steady wins the race, Bob. He used to say, slow and steady wins the race, Bob. And I never quite understood what he was telling me the whole time. Because here's the deal. This story isn't about who's faster, okay? This story is about the long game. It's about the long game, right? The reason that the rabbit didn't win the race had nothing to do with speed is he wasn't thinking about 10 years out. He wasn't thinking about long game, right? He wasn't thinking about building something for the future. He was thinking, I'm going to get somewhere fast. And by the way, that's how I was in my 20s. Who's in their 20s right now? Okay, this is me coming back to you from the future, okay? So in my 20s, I had these goals. I was going to get rich by 30, right? And I wanted to get there fast. I wanted to get there fast, right? But if I had to come back in time and tell you what my 41-year-old self would tell my 20-something-year-old self, would be like, think in 10-year terms. Think 10 years out. Because you overestimate what you guys can do in a year, but you drastically underestimate what you can do in 10. Okay? And when you think in 10-year terms, you're not so worried about a magic pill. You're worried about consistency, Chase. You're worried about getting to work. This shit is working out. That's what it is. The reason that people, how do you get in shape? How do you get in shape? Doing what? Eating clean and work. So everybody agrees that eating right and doing exercise is probably the way to lose weight and get in shape. But why doesn't anybody do it? Because you can't do it for a day and get the result. It's a long game. That's why this shit is hard. That's why not a lot of people become wealthy, guys. Okay? And that's why a lot of people will not take advantage of the EXP model either. Because they can't think past a year or 6 months or whatever. You're thinking like the rabbit. You're hopping from this to this. I got to get the next deal. I got to get the next transaction, and which is great. When you guys are starting off, obviously, we're going to make sure that you guys produce. That's why we have a coaching system in place. But in order for you to build something that's going to generate you the most income, you have to be thinking long game, right? And when you think long game, you don't worry so much about what's going to happen tomorrow. You just worry about getting to work, right? If you understand it takes that long to get in shape, you just start lifting the weights. You just start doing the repetitions. There's nothing sexy about repetitions, but it's the key to everything. If you guys are new agents, you guys experience, or how many years you guys have? You're new? How long you been in the game? 17 years? 18 years in the game? Nice. You're almost matching me. I'm like 19 years in the game. But am I wrong? Am I wrong about the fact that at the end of the day, as long as you do enough repetitions, you're going to get there. You're going to stack experience. You're going to stack knowledge, okay? It's a long game, and it's a mentality that is hard to grasp, okay? So today I'm going to talk to you guys about what the difference between an agent is, which, by the way, in our group, the Alliance group, we're not interested in just regular agents. I'm interested in entrepreneurs. I'm interested in people who think about the long game, because it's going to be the best thing for you. It's going to be the best, but you have to change the way you think. So there's a difference between an agent. An agent is short-term. It's transactional. Okay, I'm looking for real estate entrepreneurs. And in this particular company, we're looking for shareholders, which you will become if you haven't become one yet. You're actually going to own a piece of this company, and I'm going to explain to you what that means in a little bit. Okay? So what do you think? What's the difference between somebody who's an agent and a shareholder? Just tell me.
Agent comes to work every day. Shareholder actually owns part of the company. So whatever the company performs, share in the wealth of that.
That's right. That's right. What else? If we're talking about a sense of if, you know, somebody who joins our crew and says, and I told you, I'm looking for shareholders, not agents. What do you think the mindset difference is there?
Ownership, you're invested emotionally, financially.
Right. You're not an employee anymore, right? You own your own business. You're a shareholder. You have a stock in the company and what it does, right? When somebody is an employee, they don't care as much about the company. That's why they leave work early, whatever the case may be. When you know that your success also contributes to the company's success and contributes to your ownership in the company, it's a different mindset. You're like, man, this is way bigger than just me and just doing the next transaction. This is about the long game. So what's the difference? Here's what I believe the traditional agent profile is, so we can get the distinction of what it is. So number one is an agent plays a short game, has no long-term plan, has no why, right? So you don't have a goal. You just going deal to deal. And by the way, we've all been there, right? We've all been there, especially when you're trying to survive in the game, right? When your bank account's going like this, all you're thinking about is the next deal. And that's okay. But what I'm telling you is if you're going to be a part of this crew and if you're going to actually build wealth long-term, at some point, you're going to have to take a step back and look at this as a business owner, as a shareholder, rather than look at it just as the next thing. And you have to have a big reason why. Has anybody here got some big goals in life? Some big goals? Tell me one of your big goals. Can you share it with us?
Short term, buy a house.
Buy a house, short term, okay? But when this whole thing is that when you get to a certain, what impact do you want to make? What's your big goal?
Big goal would be vacation 4 months out of the year.
Vacation 4 months out of the year. I like that. Okay. What else? Chase, give me one.
It's about changing the family tree,
Yeah?
right? Not coming from much, being able to provide a better life for my family.
Wow. Rewriting the story of his family. Shit, that's a good reason to go to play the long game. To rewrite the story. Doesn't happen overnight. Give me a goal of yours.
Probably the same thing, being able to build something where I don't have to work as much since I have a baby coming up, you kind of want to
Right.
dedicate a little bit more time to work as hard as we can to
Absolutely.
build that, what do we call it, passive income.
Passive, residual income, become financially free. Guys, this is serious stuff. I'm telling you, pay attention to this because you're going to have a lot of conversation with a lot of people that say things like money isn't important and all that stuff. And it's true. It's not the most important thing. But if you whittle down everything you'd rather be doing right now than listening to my ass, it has to do with money. It has to do with money. Let's peel back the layers. I had a girl tell me, no, money's not important to me. Blah, blah. Well, I'm like, well, what do you want to be doing? It's like, well, I want to travel and I want to do this and that. I'm like, well, what do you think that takes? I mean, I wish there was a different system that was fed with a different thing, but it doesn't. So it doesn't mean that money's the most important thing. It's just a piece of paper, but it's a tool to put you in a position to rewrite your family tree. Okay? And if you don't look at it like that seriously, you're gonna end up with more life than money. And you're not gonna reach those goals because that's the only way. And if there's another way besides becoming financially free and independently wealthy, please tell me because we'll take that way. Because this shit is hard. Okay? So the next thing is they don't fully commit. An agent profile, a regular agent doesn't fully commit to real estate. They're a dabbler. Guys, I've tried dabbling. 100% of the time hasn't worked. Read any success book, and you'll never see a chapter on dabbling, okay? I know my boy Eric back there does jiu-jitsu. You got a fight coming up, right? Thursday. Okay, can we all come? No, we can't because of COVID. What? It's bullshit. Anyway, if he dabbled in his training, which, by the way, I've been hanging out with this cat, and he's telling me, hey, I'm not drinking, man. I'm like, it affects my cardio. That's what he told me the other night, right? But guess what? That's the discipline. That's long game. Yeah, I could have fun tonight, but I got a fight coming up on Thursday or in a few weeks. And he ain't trying to dabble in this shit because if he dabbles, he's going to get his ass kicked. And you're going to get your ass kicked in real estate if you dabble, okay? You have to be committed at some point. Even if you do have a job right now, you need to have a transition plan to burn the boats at some point. Because if you always have that safety net, how many of those, I've worked with a lot of agents who keep telling me like, oh, my goal is that I'm going to be able to wean myself off my full-time job. Well, you better have a plan. You better have a plan to do that. Well, how many deals does it take? How much money do you need to have in your bank for you to take that leap? What do we have to do? How much time do you have to spend when you get off work in order to get those deals? Because we're in a great business, guys. It doesn't take that much to build a couple chunks, couple stacks in the bank, to put 5, 10 grand in the bank, but you're not going to dabble your way there. If you have a full-time job, you're going to have to work extra hard. Okay? What are you doing after you get off? That's what you got to ask yourself. Okay? Does not plug into all the resources around them. So kudos to you guys. You got here. You guys drove from God knows where, right? We were supposed to do this in Wyndham. Now we're doing it in downtown Orlando. Some people had to park in weird places, right? But guess what? You showed up and plugging in. Guys, our crew is so unique. Let me tell you this. If you're new in the game, who's new? I know you are, right? Here's one of the things that could hurt you if you don't know. You just haven't had any contrast, right? You haven't gone to another place to see how it is. But I interview agents from other brokerages every single week, and the first thing they tell me is like, dude, my office is dead. Like, I don't even like going in. Hey, my broker told me they would help me, and I haven't seen them since I joined. I had a girl that I just interviewed yesterday that had been there for months, never done a deal. Broker said they were going to help her. Nobody helped her out. And when she went in to tell them that she was leaving, they're just like, okay, cool, sign this paper. Like, nobody said, like, hey, what can we do? What can we do to help you out? What can we do to help you stay? Okay? So you got to plug in. I mean, in our crew here in downtown, but I know also in the Figueroa team, you guys are doing massive amounts of training. If you're new, plug in, show up. People who show up make more money. I've been coaching agents for the past 4 years, and I know when they're about to make a turn, and it's when I see them often, right? It's like I will get an agent in that wants to do well in real estate, and I'm like, cool, here's the class schedule. We got Tuesdays, we got Thursdays, we got the boot camp, we got this, we got that. They're like, oh, super excited, and I don't see them for 3 weeks or a month or 2 months, right? And then they ask me, they're always at, hey, what can I do? What can I do? I'm like, you need to just show up. There's stuff going on. And by the way, the value of it is not just the classes, it's you guys. Like, because guess what? If I'm coming in and I'm fighting the battle that you're fighting, by the way, you are fighting a battle. Okay, everybody in this room, kudos to you because you guys are some crazy ass motherfuckers. You decided to join an industry where you work first for a chance to get paid second. I could tell you maybe 2% of the population or less, maybe less than 1% is willing to take that risk and that leap. You've been in the game, kudos to you. And you know what I'm talking about. That's a weight that you put on your shoulders every day, okay? Well, that's partly why I'm talking to you about this today, because I want that weight to get off at some point. And it can get off, okay? But you've got to plug in. And I always know when somebody's turning around when I start seeing them come in. Like, they haven't been there for months, and then suddenly I see them doing floor duty, and then suddenly I see them making calls, and, you know, they're walking around the office, and I'm like, oh, they're about to get it. There's a couple young guys, Santiago and Ramses, and I saw them the other day at the happy hour we did for the agents, and I just told them straight up, I was like, hey, I see you, because I'm here, you're coming in, I see you there. I leave, I see you making calls. I said, if something good's not happening for you right now, it's about to. Just keep it up. And he's like, yeah, and you could just tell that they're there. They're just, and he's like, Bobby, I'm just doing what you told me. Repetitions, repetitions. Yes, repetitions. It's not sexy, but it works, okay? Tends to blame everybody else or the industry for their lack of success. We know some people like this, okay? That ain't gonna get you there. That's an agent does that. An agent's gonna say, oh, you know, real estate ain't for me, or this doesn't work, or well, they're teaching me this and that. No, it works. You know, I can bring you some top producing Figueroa team people that I'm like, why is it working for her and him and not you? It's excuses. It's all internal. Okay. Acts like a salesperson and not a business owner, right? It's just, hey, I'm just trying to make sales. I'm just trying to get a next transaction. Not a business owner. Business owner says things like, how do I set up a system to get more sales? That's a business owner question. Right? Not, hey, how do I get this how do I convince this person that they have to buy this house? You know what I mean? Like that's a salesperson tactic, okay? And they're on their way to becoming a dead agent, okay? That's what an agent does. Hey, do you know what the percentage of people who are newly licensed, what percentage of newly licensed people are out of the business within 18 months? Yeah. It's about 84, 85, 87. 18 months. You're out of the game because you're doing the wrong things. You're not establishing some of these principles. And I can tell you, by the way, and this is why it's important, and when you guys are talking to agents and bringing them into the company, and let them know that you have a commitment to them to make sure that they do a deal as quickly as possible. This is a production-based system. Don't let nobody, I'm gonna show you some stuff today that might surprise you. But we are a production company. This is, people say, well, EXP is about recruiting. No, it ain't. This system does not work without production. And guess what? If I can get an agent to produce within at least 2 deals in the first year, but if I can get you a deal in the first 30 days, your chances of staying in the business go up by about 75%. So think about that when you guys are coming into the game. Your job, if you guys are new in the game, I want you to get a deal in the first 30 days. And I'm going to show you some ways to do that. And it's not that hard. You guys overcomplicate it. Most of you guys are not getting deals because you're secret agents. Don't be a secret agent. Guys, real estate is not your product. You understand that? Real estate sells itself. Everybody needs a home. You don't have to sell real estate. Your product is people. It's relationships. So with that being said, wouldn't suffice to say that if you make more connections, you're going to make more money? That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Who are you connecting? If you're not connecting with 10 new people a day, you're gonna lose. But I've seen nobody lose if they did that. Everybody who connects with at least 10 new people a day through social media, through text, through calls, they don't never fail. Because what I say is this, guys, you think it's that person, right? Like I meet Patrick and I'm like, man, I'm trying to get a deal from Patrick. No, I'm not. I'm trying to get into his web. If I get a good relationship with Patrick, I get the people around him. Now, if Patrick's ready right now, thank God. I know he'll be ready if I keep following up with him. We know he's going to need a home at some time. He just told you. Matter of fact, who wants to be his agent? He just told you that his goal short term was what? Buying a house. Okay, and that's great. So if you meet somebody that says that, you got a client right there. But I'm not just interested in that. I'm interested in their mom and their cousin and their friend. And that lawyer they know that handles deals and can refer you a shit ton of business if you build a relationship with them. So no experience is wasted. No meeting is wasted. And by the way, that is your goal, is to meet people face to face. That's it. Connect, 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 connect. Okay? So let me tell you about the shareholder profile. Oh, I think we got another person. Yeah, don't be afraid to interrupt me. Oh, that's Livia. Okay. So let's talk about the shareholder profile and what that looks like. Okay. So knows the value of the long game and knows their why. There's a couple people in here that shared their why. They know the value of the long game. It's not sexy. But if you think far out, if you start thinking that way, because I'm going to tell you right now, and she'll tell you this, you think, see, when I was in my 20s, this is my problem. In my 20s, I thought 2 years was an eternity. 2 years is like, now 2 years just went by. Like, it goes that fast. 10 years is not that long. Guys, if you hit certain markers in your mid-30s, you're on your way. If you read books like Think and Grow Rich, you'll find out that even though it was a book specifically about, he studied men for 25 years because that's what they did back in those days. But in general, they found most of them didn't make their major money until their 40s. Okay? So if you're ahead of the game, if you're hitting goals in your 30s, so if you start on a 10-year track and you say, hey, listen, this is where I want to be at 35 or 37 or 38 or 40, then you're going to have a different mentality. You're going to do different things. You're not going to squirrel around and dabble, right? Somebody's going to flash the next shiny object to you and you'll be like, I'll try that. I try that. Because that's what I did. I jumped around from a bunch of things. The thing that changed everything for me was about 8 years ago, I said, real estate's going to be my thing and I'm going to commit to it. I don't know where this road takes me, but I'm not going to jump around anymore, right? Because this game is amazing. There's so many wealthy people involved in it. You're going to make so many great connections. There's so many ways to make money. New construction, residential, commercial, investing, all these different things. I was like, dude, I'm in a good vehicle here. I'm going to stay in it. There's a guy named Keith Cunningham that, I go to a lot of Tony Robbins stuff, and he's just like Southern dude. And he's like, it's funny. Who knows Gil? Okay, so did he invite you? Okay. Okay, but you know Gil? Okay. Oh, okay, awesome. That's fantastic. So there's this country as okay. So if you know Gil, you know he's a total D personality. Like shit frustrate. Like if you take too long to even get your sentence out, he's already into like he does not like it, right? So we go to this Tony Robbins event, and then there's this guy named Keith Cunningham who's supposed to be like a brilliant business strategist, right? And you know they say, hey, make sure you're back after lunch. Keith Cunningham is coming up. He's going to give you a Harvard education in like economics and finance and your numbers and all that stuff. And Gil's like, oh, I can't wait. And people are telling me, dude, Keith Cunningham's amazing. And Keith Cunningham goes up there and he's like just Southern dude. And he starts just dropping these little lines like, you know, get in line and stay in line, you know, and Gil's like, okay. And he's thinking that it's going to get more complicated after this. And he's like, and then he starts explaining like financial statements. He's like, well, here's the deal. You got numbers and you got activities. And then you got optics. Now you change your activity. He's just like really simple. And Gil's like getting pissed off. Like, dude, where's the Harvard education part of this shit? Like, he's just like, yeah, I could see him like, just like, I'm like, Gil, relax. I think the whole point is we're overcomplicating this shit. Like what he's trying to tell you is that this ain't that hard, right? You just got to be able to look at it. And one thing he said was get in line and stay in line. What does he mean? Because we tend to hop around to all these different things. And we keep moving up this line. And then somebody shines something shiny over here, and then we switch lines. Guess what? We're in the back of that line now. And guess what? If you would have stayed in it, if you would have stuck it out, before you know it, you'll be at the front of that line. So if you guys are in real estate and you're feeling that same way too, just get in line and stay in line. It really worked for me, okay? Talks about investing in their business. You know, when I meet somebody and I talk to them about becoming a part of EXP, whatever, and they can't stop talking about the fact about paying $85 a month, I can already see that mindset has to shift, right? They're thinking about a fee. That's an investment in your business. That's a different thing, right? People who believe in themselves. Our top producer, Tia Billis, decided a few years ago that she was going to invest in buying leads. And now she makes God knows what, $300,000, $400,000 a year, whatever she makes, right? I don't know all her numbers, just about, right? You guys good with that? $300,000 to $400,000 just because she said, hey, look, I need to invest in my business. I need to buy some leads. Matter of fact, convinced her boyfriend, instead of a Valentine's Day gift, give me some money for leads. That's a fucking soldier, right? That's a soldier. That is somebody who's thinking about investing in their business. Next one, has a hunger for learning their craft and the company and the opportunity they're part of. You know, I'm teaching you this stuff today, and if you don't know some of this stuff about the company today, you have an excuse until today. But after today, this shit is on you because we're part of something pretty cool. We're part of something that's revolution. You know, everybody wanted to be a part of the Facebook IPO and all these different things, you know, and I always say that I missed a lot of waves. There's been a lot of like things that I could have been a part of. Like I could have been a part of the .com thing, or I could have been a smart investor and knew that the crash was coming in 2008 and stacked my chips up and then just murked the game after everything went to like pennies on the dollar. I missed those things because I wasn't in the game. I wasn't in line. Okay. What's happening right now is you guys are in line. And I was in line for about 7 years. And to be quite honest with you, me and Gil didn't know what we were going to do. And then finally somebody named Carlos German convinced us, you need to take a look at this DXP thing again. And once we took a look at it, we're like, holy shit, you know, this is that wave. Like we were already kind of paddling. You can't catch the wave unless you're paddling in that direction already. You can't be on the shoreline and being like, oh, that was a good one. So this thing came and we said, oh my God, now we just got to start paddling and catch this thing. You guys have the opportunity to do that. Right now, we're only 11 years into the game. Okay, we're a baby company still, but we're 11 years ahead of anybody else. We have a model that nobody else has. Nobody. That's the one. That's why they can't do anything about it. That's why Keller Williams can't move quick enough. Remax can't move quick enough. We did a cloud-based company 11 years ago. Nobody knew the pandemic was coming, but guess what? digital age just went 20 years forward, and they're looking at us. We're going to talk about our stock in a minute. Have anybody been watching this stock? Every time it goes up, I get a little bit more pissed because it's good, but then I'm like, because when it was at 40, I was like, it's already so high. I'm like, you should have, but then you're like, where's it going to go? So it's just moving up too quick. Like I'm thinking 40 to 50 won't happen for another 6, 12 months. No, it happened in a couple weeks. Okay. I know. It's a freaking 54 right now. I just got the update like a second ago. Okay. So guys, if you're going to be a shareholder in the company, you should learn about the company you're in because this is a wealth building vehicle. You got to learn it. You got to know the ins and outs of it. Okay. Understand the power of repetition. We talked about that a little bit, about how repetition, that's the one thing, okay, who's done personality profiles in here? This personality profile. Does anybody know what a high I is or an I personality is? What? Bubbly, energetic, like people, social, very social, right? It's tough. If you guys haven't figured out, I'm a high I. Right? That's me. Like I'm like, dude, people are my thing, man. It's like that's the deal. So it's hard for me, and I like variety. That's the other thing. I like things to move around. I like to be the same. So this was one of the hardest ones. But once I see the power of repetition, like now people are like, well, why are you going to another Tony Robbins event? Because I want to hear it again and again and again. Every morning when I play these videos, I want to hear it again. None of these principles are necessarily new to me, but guess what? If you did it the first time you heard it, you already been doing it. Repetition is the key, right? If you know the message is right, if you know what I'm telling you is true, this can't be the only time you hear it. I better see you in Cabo in February. I better see you at the next Brent Gove leadership event. I better see you at EXP Con. I better see you at the EXP Summit. Because if not, you just don't care about them. You just don't care about it. Right? And maybe you have to hear it again and again for somebody to finally kick you off your butt and say, hey, you need to get out here. Okay? Sees the value of becoming a leader that creates leaders. Okay? I'm interested in people in this group who want to become leaders, and you should want to become a leader. Let me tell you, for many reasons. Okay? Number one is in this model, in the EXP model, what you need to be thinking is about duplication. And what you need to be thinking about duplicating is yourself, okay? Nobody's going to get rich or become wealthy trading hours for dollars, okay? They're just not. There's only 24 hours a day in one of you, right? But our upline, our mentor, Jay Kinder, says if it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. What does that mean? I have to be able to show you what I do so that you can do it well, become a leader, and then go create another leader. You're going to replicate yourself through people. And we're going to talk about that through the agent attraction model. But you need to be thinking, hey, I'm not just coming in here being an agent. I want to be a leader. I want to be an influencer. By the way, that'll help your business too. Okay? But that's what you want to be, is a leader that creates leaders, right? And I always say leaders that create coaches. Now I've got a team of coaches here. I don't coach everybody anymore. I just coach my front line. Okay? And I make sure that people understand when they come into the field, I expect you to become a leader, and then I expect you to teach at some point. Right? Help somebody else. And you're going to want to do that, especially for your front line. You're going to want to make sure that they produce, that they get to the next level in the game. And then finally, studies wealth building. So once again, nobody in this room is necessarily independently wealthy yet. But I know that there's some people in here studying the game. And this is one of your lessons, but you got to continue that every single day. Like I said, I'm listening to some book right now called, the most important thing, and it's all about investing. Like, I want to eat more. Give me more. I want to hear this message over again from different people because the principles are the same. I just want to keep hearing them. Veronica loves John Sheplack. She loves him. I love Tony Robbins, but they say a lot of the same things. They just say it in different ways. If she likes him, great. As long as she's getting the message. You like Grant Cardone? Fantastic. Find somebody that you can, that really appeals to you. Okay. So wealth is not about what you can buy. It's about who you have to become to be able to buy it. Okay. This is something that I heard at a Tony Robbins event, right? There was a guy on stage who was speaking, and he was like, hey, I like watch, he's wealthy. So he's like, I like these watches. I have a whole collection of watches. And he's like, I just want you to know that this doesn't define me. I'm not wearing it because I'm trying to be I just like watches a lot. But when I look at this watch, I don't look at it like, hey, you know, I'm the cool guy wearing a watch. I look at it and say, man, who did I have to become to be able to afford this watch? Because I told you, to become wealthy, you have to change who you are. You have to think differently, right? Like I said, just simple little things like these aren't costs. These are investments in my business. That's a different way of thinking about the game, okay? So this is a very general question. I'm just curious to see how you would answer it. So to become wealthy, what do you think should be your goal when it comes to money? Like at what point are you free, pretty much free? At what point do you actually get free? Like, what does your money have to do for you in order for you to get free? You guys know? Any guesses? Create more money. Don't you love his Dublin accent, man? It's freaking awesome. That's right. This is the goal when it comes to money. You have to have your money make money, because if not, you're going to be working for it. Right? It's that simple. You have to stack enough chips and have them in some kind of investment account or investment vehicles where now your money makes money. And you can do that in many different ways. You can own commercial property. You can have investment accounts. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot advise you on what to do, okay? But you have to get enough in an account that has interest compounding on it, or own multiple commercial buildings so that you don't have to work. Your money makes you the money, okay? That's the only way to get free. Don't get it twisted. Okay, you're not going to earn your way there, but earning is part of it. You have to get there first. Okay, so here are the 4 simple steps to wealth. 1, you got to earn money. You're in a vehicle right now and in a market right now with interest rates lowish. Dude, you have the opportunity to start making 6 figures in this game, and heavy 6 figures if you start building some systems. Heavy 6 figures if you start investing in your business. Okay, so you have to earn money. Okay, then you have to have the discipline not to spend it all. That's another one. Very few realtors have that discipline, right? If they go from 100 grand to 200 grand, they're going to find a way to spend 200 grand. Okay, you got to have enough discipline to live below your means. Delayed gratification. I could floss today, but if I don't and I stack my chips, I'll be able to floss forever. That's the long game. It's fucking hard. That's why you see some people driving around in cars you know they can't afford, or you know that's hurting them. Hey, most of you in here could probably get a financing for a really, really nice car with $1,000 a month payment. But you'll be messing with your long game. And you need to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because it ain't for your wealth. It's to show somebody that you're worthy, right? Okay? Earn money, save money, so have the discipline, and then you have to invest money. Money got to be put to work. If you have it just sitting in your savings account, nothing can happen. You need to be buying real estate. You need to be investing in real estate. You need to be investing in have an investment account, okay? And once again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'll give you a book that you can read in a second that I think will enlighten you on having an investment account with a financial advisor, okay? I think it'll enlighten you. It enlightened me. And then, obviously, you invest the money, and now your money works for you, right? You got mailbox money. It just comes. You sleep, it's there, right? So this is the book I'm talking to you guys about. Tony Robbins did not write it. He wrote it, but he interviewed people, right? So just so you know, Tony Robbins is not a financial advisor, right? He's a personal development coach. But what he did was he went around the world, and he sought out the top. This is Tony's secret is he finds the best in whatever industry he's looking for, and then he just takes the nuggets. Because he can sit with an hour with somebody who's the best at something and get little distinctions that you wouldn't get if you just went to somebody who was mediocre. They're not going to be able to tell you those little shifts that can change everything. So he wrote this book, and what did he do? He went around he interviewed guys that you might or might not know. These guys you've heard of Warren Buffett, but you might not have heard of Ray Dalio. You might have not heard of Paul Tudor Jones. All these guys that in the midst, I think Paul Tudor Jones, in the midst of the 2008 crash, made his investors 200% returns. okay? Because of these principles that he teaches in this book, right? And it's actually quite simple. You know, the things that I learned from this book were, one, you have to have a money machine, which is some kind of investment account. You have to have a place to put it, right? I mean, you can wait for deals to come, but you should have an account that earns you income, right? So in between you finding that great real estate investment, what's your money doing, right? What's it earning? The other thing he talks about is make sure you find the right financial advisor who's not charging you more than 1% in fees, which is hard to find. But there's a company that he's affiliated with that now I have an account with that doesn't charge over 1% in fees. Because the difference between a financial advisor charging you 1% and 3% in fees is half your wealth in 20 years. It's crazy. That's the power of compounding. That's the power of time. Okay, that's what we talk about there. Okay, and then he talks about things like diversification and the things that you have to do in order to make sure your account is safe, right? And that's what he asked him. He's like, look, what would you tell your mother to do? Like, and the guy basically said, I'm gonna give you my all-weather strategy, no matter what happens. And this is a long game, by the way. It's nice that EXP stock is shooting up, but I would never advise you to dump all your money into that. That is a bad investment principle, because we don't know what could happen with that stock. You just put all your eggs in one basket. You broke rule number 2 of investing. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2 is diversify. You put all your shit in one basket, and that basket goes south, you're done. Okay? So this is the line that Tony said at one of these things. Income is the only outcome. So we have to figure out how to make a massive amount of income. And good thing is we're in real estate. We can do that. Okay? Income is the only outcome. I need an engine. I need something bringing income in so that I can reinvest and save and reinvest that money. Okay? So there's 2 main types of income. We touched on it a little bit ago. Earned income and passive income. Okay? So passive is obviously money while you sleep. That's eventually what we want. That's the only way to get free. Is to make money while you sleep. Okay? You guys know Jennifer Encarnacion? Okay, so Jennifer, single mom, been in the EXP model for 1.5 years, now has over 100 people in her organization, and she's clearing checks of $5,000 to $10,000 a month while she sleeps. That's not real estate sales. That is, she has an organization. She duplicated herself 100 and something times. And a little piece of all those deals goes into that residual income. She basically has a brokerage, and you guys have the same exact opportunity. You have the opportunity to build your own brokerage without liability and without expenses and without a broker's license. Nobody's doing this. We're the only model doing it. Okay? So here's a trick. You want to get earned income, so you want to earn a shit ton of money. You want to create assets, investment accounts, commercial property, residential property, and then have them create you passive income. That's it. That's your plan. That's your wealth plan. Okay? And that's all you really need to know. And then you have to have the drive to continue to learn, right? You told me about a commercial property. I'm telling you that the magic is you taking that call. What does the REITs make a lot of money? What are they doing? What are they investing in? That kind of knowledge is what I want all the time, over and over again. I want to hear more. I want to hear more because this is too important. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the model so that you guys can understand. So, you know, I think the main reason that ECs came to me was because some of you guys might not know exactly how the model exactly works or how to build the model. I'm going to simplify it for you because it's not that hard. It's really not hard, but you will want to hear over again. How many people have watched the model explained? Okay, great, great. Watch it again. Over and over. Watch more videos. I'll give you a link here in a second that I have a few videos that you can watch, okay? And I'll play one here in a second. All right, so how do we create massive earned income? So I'm gonna give you some things that you can do. What? Hunger to become a true professional in their business, can't stand not knowing. So these are the characteristics. So now you're in real estate, okay? We have a lot of coaching that happens here, but sometimes I worry we kind of enable you. You know, we give you so much that you think that you don't have to build that research muscle, that you don't have to figure stuff out. It's not true. Remember, at the end of the day, I can't care more about your business than you do. I can't. It's never going to work. You have to set a new standard for yourself as to who I'm going to be. You want to be a professional? Go be a professional. Learn it. Don't be okay with hearing an agent tell you something and you don't know what the word means and then go into your next conversation without knowing what that word is or the definition. That's it. Your new standard is like, I can't do that. What is that? I want to learn more. I don't know what wholesaling is. What is it? Tell me. Google. whatever I got to do to learn what I got to learn. Cannot stand. That's what somebody who's going to earn massive income can't stand not knowing the answer. Number 2, people are your product, not real estate. The more connections you make, the more money you make. I already told you that. It's really that simple. Connect, connect, connect. We talk about 3 things. Connect, cultivate, close. Connect is just the initial connection. Cultivate is building that relationship, okay? Cultivation is really simple, guys. I'm going to take the pressure off you new agents as far as real estate is concerned, because who is feeling like they're a little apprehensive because they don't know everything about real estate? Like they're kind of scared that somebody's going to ask them a question that they don't know the answer to. You feeling that way? You're smiling. Okay. I'm going to ease up the whole thing for you, okay? You don't have to say anything. You just have to ask great questions. Because here's the deal. Nobody knows how good you are in real estate till the end. So they can't be making the decision as to whether to work with you because of how much you know, okay? They're making a decision on 2 things. What are those 2 things, Devin? For me working with you, what am I going to make my decision off of?
Knowledge.
No, I just said it wasn't knowledge. 2 things. They like you and they trust you. Okay? You know how to get somebody to like you? You care about them. And you ask them questions about them instead of thinking about what you're going to spit out of your mouth to them or how you're going to sell them. My trick, here, I'm going to give you my number 1 tool. This is how I start every buyer's consultation. This is how I start every seller listing presentation. This is how I meet new friends. This is how I make all the connections. And it's going to be so complicated, okay? I just go up to a guy like Patrick and say, hey, before we get started, what's your story, man? That's what I did. I met Patrick. He came in. I said, tell me your story. He starts telling me about how, his family and the fact that they own a lot of nightclubs and commercial property. He just came back from Dublin, opening up, different pubs over there. He calls them pubs, right? But I need that. I now know more about him, and I can ask him even more questions. Oh man, how'd your family even get into that? And as they tell you more and more, they're giving you everything you need to work with them. They're telling you who they are. They're telling you what's important to them. You're getting to know their personality style. Is this person an I? Is this person a D? Does this person need details? Is this person more of a love support type of person? They're going to tell you all in the story. And all you got to do is ask a ton of questions. In a perfect world, hey, I want to buy my first home. Out of curiosity, what made you want to do that now? Like, what was the thing? Let them start talking about their dreams and things like that. That's it. That's all you need to do to get clients, is just care about them and ask the right questions. A lot of people use a guide, the Ford method, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. If you need a guide as to how to do it, but you know how to do it. Because if you weren't meeting a client and you were just meeting a friend, you'd probably do it that way. So you just got to make more friends. Okay? Cultivate relationships by adding value. How can you help? This is the easy, rather than what can I get, shift it to how much value can you add? So a lot of times when people are like, well, I'm talking to a couple other people, that's fine. I just want to make sure that you understand that I'm your resource. Okay? Whether you work with me or you don't work with me, you call me. You need something, you got a real estate question, you call me. You want to know what something's worth, you call me. You want to know if you think it's a good decision, a bad decision, you call me. You need somebody to help you with finding a mover or finding this, you call me. Let me be a value add to you. Trust and believe that person's going to work with you. And even if they have to work with somebody else because it's their daughter or something like that, you know what they're going to do? They're going to feel bad and refer you to somebody. They're like, man, but she was so sharp. She had this great smile. And you know what? My neighbor was just talking about selling her house. I'll set you up. Okay, cool. Can you connect me with her by text or whatever the case may be? Okay. Creativity equals cash. Try things. Be an innovator. Look, our group, our culture is, hey, I'd rather you ask forgiveness. Just try things, right? You have a great marketing idea, go try it, right? As long as it's ethical and you have great intentions, we'll be able to fix whatever happens if something bad happens. But most of the time it doesn't, because if you're a good person and you have good intentions, it'll work out right. But be creative, Like what's your background? Where are you, before real estate, where are you coming from? Publix. Okay. Can anybody tell me, an angle that he could work. Just knowing that one thing to get business. He used to work at Publix. Right. Everybody who he used to work with, he could actually create a niche saying, you know, my vision is to help as many Publix employees reach their dream of home ownership. He could create a whole niche and a brand around that. He could create little business cards that he goes back to the people there and they're there and make sure I get all their contact information. I want you to know, by the way, all the employees, I want to be a resource for you. If you ever think about real estate, I want you to think of me, and I'm here just to help, okay? You know, I used to work at Publix, so I feel, you know, we got a family bond here, okay? That's all I needed to ask him to know. There's his niche or a niche. He should try it. He's already got relationships cultivated there. Okay? Don't wait to be perfect. It will kill you. Okay? So, you know, we started a coaching company called Dead Agent Society. And we call it Dead Agent Society because we feel like dead agents have the best things to teach you, right? They're going to tell you the things that killed them, right? And perfection is one of the main killers. Okay? We went to Tony Robbins one time, and this was one of the things that like really shook me, because who considers himself a perfectionist in here? Anybody? Okay. See, I used to think that was a good thing. I used to think that was great, right? I was like, dude, I'm a perfectionist, you know, I'm gonna get it right, make sure the thing. And then Tony Robbins, you know, 6'7" dude comes up on stage one day. He's like, I want to tell you something. Perfection is the lowest standard. And I was like, oh shit. What does he mean by that? And then he went on to say, look, perfection's the lowest standard because you're trying so hard to be perfect. You're going to give yourself so much stress and anxiety that either you won't try the thing that you're supposed to try, or you're going to try it, not be perfect, and be so damn hard on yourself that you'll never do it again. I want to be perfect. I want to be perfect. I want to be perfect. You make your first call. It doesn't quite go out well. Shit, I'm not trying that anymore. Instead of focusing on the reps. Oh shit, every call that I make, I get stronger. Every call that I make, I get stronger, right? So perfection is actually a terrible thing. If that's what you're waiting on, you're going to go broke quick in real estate. You need to connect. You need to not be a secret agent. You need to be talking to people about the fact you're in the game. You're going to go make $1 million deal? Perfect. And then get into the real estate investing game. Guys, you're in the game. First off, number one thing I do want you to do is buy your own house. I think it's important to have your home. I really do. Not every home is like, you know, a massive investment, okay? But it's an investment in your stability. It's an investment in your business, because you will now know what it takes to actually do that for yourself, which will help you help clients, okay? And the statistics say that people who own their home versus rent have 37 times more net worth than somebody who rents. So it's very important. If you haven't bought your own home, that should be one of your first goals. I really do believe that. Okay? And there's a lot of ways you can skin that game. Okay, so let's grab them assets. All right? So here's ways you can grab assets. Number one, buy and hold real estate. Okay? Find great deals, buy and hold. It could be commercial, it could be residential. You know, I'm the type of person, like at this point, I'm really interested in buying commercial property, but if you just need to get started, I think that's great to buy your first residential rental property. I mean, it's a great education for you. You learn how to do it. You'll gain some income, hopefully get some equity over time, okay? Number two is get a diversified investment account. I already talked to you about that. Read that book, Unshakable. I think you'll think that you get a better handle on it, because before this book, I really didn't have a good handle on, you know, giving somebody my money and hoping they did great shit with it. But once I had the principles in place and what they were doing with it, I feel a whole lot better, right? Because the stock market, stocks, bonds, all the diversified buckets, they put you in this long game stuff. Like I told you, EXP stock is great. I'm very happy that it's gone up. But I would never dump all of my cash into one stock. That is crazy, right? No smart investment, long game investor will tell you that that's a smart thing to do. Number three is EXP stock, okay? So EXP stock, the cool thing is you earn free stock by doing normal things that you do in the EXP model. Nobody's offering that. No brokerage is offering that, okay? And then finally, build your EXP business. Build your downline. You have an opportunity Okay, and I'm going to help you think about it a little bit differently because, you know, some people will say things like, I'm not a recruiter. And I'm like, well, that's not what this is about. This is about how many people you can help in your organization. I mean, if you ever want to be a business owner, what do you think you're going to do? And by the way, what has the brokerage business always been about? It's been about selling real estate and recruiting. See, you think it sounds better because you're going to go get your broker's license, take on massive liability and expenses, and build this shit from the ground up with a one-level model. You think it sounds better, okay? But those people are dying. I'm going to tell you right now, this model, I call it the franchise killer. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see some people fold, okay? You're going to see the KWs or Remax. I think that it's a tough model to sustain when we've got something like this. I think the survivors will be somebody who might copy this, but we're 11 years ahead of them, or strong independents. There are some strong independents out there. They're boutique independent brokerages, and they do well, and that's fine, okay? But I think everybody else is done. So let's talk about stock, because I get this a lot. Guys, you guys are going to become shareholders. You should understand what it is, right? A lot of people like Atia. Atia is so damn focused on production. She has no idea. We had to show her where to see her stock. And it was a big number because she does so much production and she gets so much free stock. She didn't know. She didn't even know where it was in EXP Enterprise, like where to find it. And I'm going to show you where. Okay. So for those people who might not know what stock is, let me see if I can move this down a little bit. Okay. For those people who might not know what stock is like buying a house for a great price and watching it increase in value. That's all it is. Right? Some people are like, I don't get stock. I don't get, it's not that hard to get. You're just buying a piece of a property, or in this case, you're buying a piece of a business, and hopefully you get it at a good price so that as the business grows, as the company grows, as the company makes more money, you get equity just like you would in a house, right? If I buy a house at a great price at $100,000, and in 5 years I sell it for $300,000, that's what a stock is, right? So you get stock in this company for doing the normal things that you usually do, okay? In real estate. So before I show this, who actually knows how you get stock? Like who actually knows how you get stock in EXP? Okay, we got 3 out of 4, okay? You should know this. This is your money, okay? If you close your first deal, every year you close your deal, so your personal anniversary date, right? So mine's like February 28th or March 28th, I forget, okay? Every year that I close my first deal, they're going to give me $200 in stock, okay? So I get that every single year when I close my first deal. When you sponsor an agent and they close their first deal, you're going to get $200 of free stock. This is free. You're not paying for it. You just get it. Okay? So they're helping you get wealthy by doing the things that you're normally doing. When you cap, right? So when you hit your cap on a year. So let's say I started working here January 1st. So my year is January to December 31st. Okay? If I do $80,000 in gross production, right? So gross checks that come in from commissions. I hit 80,000, which in this market is usually about 10 to 12 deals. I will cap. So the faster you do this, the better. So let's say I cap 6 months in. For the rest of the year, my commissions are 100%. I get all of my commission. There is no split. That's exciting. And then you resets on your year, right? And then you got to do it again. Okay, but when you hit your cap, they're going to reward you even more with stock. They're going to give you $400 worth of stock. Okay? And then this is the sexy one. So this is why I absolutely hope for you that you're thinking about becoming a top producer in this company. Because this right here is sick. If you become an icon agent, which means you do 20 deals after you cap. So you cap, and then you do 20 deals after that. And by the way, they don't have to be any particular price. They could be rentals. They could be anything. 20 deals above your cap, and they're going to give you $16,000 worth of stock in the company. Now imagine this. Our stock, when COVID started, our stock was at $8. $8. Imagine. So when you're talking, you say, well, you know, some of these top producing agents, they don't want to come to EXP. Do this math for them. Say, are you a top producing? Oh, yeah. How many deals you do? I do like 40, 50, 60 deals a year. Fantastic. How long you been doing that for? Oh, I've been doing that for the last 5 years. Go ahead and multiply 16,000 by the last 5 years. And the stock, let's just say it was at 8, whatever. They bought more than that because it was even below 8 before that. And then figure out where their stock would be now when it's 54. And then ask them, do you get that at your company? Because when this happened during COVID, we created the first millionaires in EXP stock in the company when this jump happened recently. Literally from $8 to 54 in 4 months. That's not normal, by the way. It just happened to happen. But I'm just telling you, I still want the $16,000 in stock, even when the stock's at 54, because we're only at what? How many agents are we at now? Maybe around 40,000 agents. We're about to open up 6 countries before the end of the year. Brazil, Mexico, France, Portugal, South Africa, Puerto Rico is coming. Hey guys, we're going to be 1 million agents in 10 years. What do you think is going to happen to that $54? I don't give a shit if it's 54 now. I want my 16,000. So be thinking about becoming an icon agent ASAP. I want that stock as soon as I can get it. Okay? Because the sooner I get it, the more I get to buy with that 16,000. And you have built into the system, if you guys didn't know, how many of you guys know that there's a stock buy program? Eric knows. Do you know that if you opt in, when you signed up with EXP, if you opt in for the stock, they call it the agent equity program is what they call it. If you opted in, they'll automatically take 5% of your commissions when you close, and they will buy stock for you automatically in EXP at a 10% discount. So you're making a 10% profit, which, by the way, most investors would kill for 10% returns, right? Right off the rip. And I'll show you my stock here in a sec. Some of my stock here, it should have gone up since the morning, right? So, and here's the deal. This stock here, all this free stock here has some kind of vesting period, okay? And what that means is that you don't get it, you can't cash it out right away. It's free, so they want you to stay in the company for at least 3 years in order for you to get that stock, which I love, because part of the thing you're going to want in your organization is people to stay in the game, right? So if you can help people get stock, if you can help people build their organization, what are the chances that you're going to leave? If I help you build an organization, even if it's five or six agents in your front line and your downline organization, and you're making some residual, even if it's $300, $400, $500 a month at the beginning, and you have some stock in there, why would you go to another company? So I think it's a brilliant model, because I can tell you that in talking with brokers, right? The thing that brokers worry about the most is liability, getting sued, and people leaving them. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about the power of the 7-level system, but that's what they worry about. But we have something that keeps the integrity of the system. Doesn't mean everybody doesn't leave. Of course, people are leaving brokerages all the freaking time. Matter of fact, get ready, because this time of year coming up is when most people make their switches, because they want to be somewhere different in January. So if you want to start building your organization, now would be a good time to let people know that you're with us and we have a great group, and that we're going to give them that coaching, personal development, and culture, and then start inviting them to some of the stuff that we do. Let them feel it, okay? And, of course, you can buy it on the open market, okay, which I do as well. So I started buying EXP stock on my own. There's a little app called Robinhood. I'm sure many of you have heard about it. I just started to buy, nothing crazy, you know, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, whatever. But I could tell you right now, I'm happy with what's happening with the stock right now. I think I'm gonna check it right now. So I've probably, over the last year, I've probably bought about like $4,300 worth of stock. Okay. And so I've spent about, let's just say even $5,000. I've spent $5,000 on EXP stock over the past year. My balance just went up a couple more, $34,911. Divide 5,000 by 34. Oh, my return is, here, you tell me where to. EXPI is our stock. Here.
So do you see where it it says today's return, total return, right underneath.
Yeah, just tell me where it's at.
So click on the stock. So your return, you're up. Just total return, he's up 534%.
Okay, these aren't normal investment numbers, right? But man, I'm excited about it, right? I told you 10% are real good. 533 is better. Okay, but I'm just showing what you can do. So you can buy it on the open market if you choose to. It's not. I'm not telling you how to invest. I'm just telling you you kind of an insider trading. You're kind of part of the company doing it, and you see our growth. And by the way, congratulations, we are probably the fastest growing, strongest group in the entire company. Your leader, Veronica Figueroa, is known in the company. Matter of fact, tonight at 7:30 p.m., which you should all be on this call, the president of EXP is coming to talk to us, the Alliance Group. To us, not. And that's the coolest thing about this company. I can message these guys, right? This is not this is an agent-owned company, okay? So where do you find your stock? So who's been in EXP Enterprise? You should have been already. So you want to find your stock? Please go into this nice little box over here called ShareWorks. Okay, that's where they keep track of your stuff. Okay, some people don't even know where to find it. Okay, so this is the stock. Now, I showed you what I bought on the open market. I'm not an icon producer. I've been coaching agents. I'll tell you right now, I haven't been doing 33 deals, which now now I must, right? I'm going to do it through building a team rather than me doing the production necessarily. Okay, but I wanted to show you mine because this is just regular production, and me buying the stock with that 5% equity program. But for a year and a half, that ain't bad. I mean, once we did get a 533% return, so that helps. But that's sitting there. I can't pull it all out right now. I think available. I can pull out 14 grand because the stock you buy is yours. That 5% that you buy at a 10% discount, you can cash that out immediately. You bought it. Everything else is free stock. They want it to stay in. So this 26 grand has a vesting period, but I ain't going nowhere. So 3 years from now, if I want to cash that out, I can. Okay? But this is how you see it, and everybody has one of these in their EXP Enterprise. So if you want to know how to check it out, there's that. And then I already showed you the Robinhood app. You can buy this on the open market. Not a bad idea, right? Not a bad idea, just if you want to kind of put in a few dollars here and there just to have a little extra stock in the company. Okay, so let's talk about the real game. Let me talk about the reason that Gil and I were actually thinking about either selling the company. Well, Exit was his company, by the way. So he told me, he's like, hey man, I don't know what to do. There's people offering me money for the company. I'm running out of my franchise agreement. What are we gonna do? And I personally wanted to stay in the game. I was like, man, I want to stay in this. I'm like, we have so many talented people, such great energy here. I'm like, I think this is totally untapped, right? So finally, we get introduced to this model. We researched it for about 6 months, and we're like, man, this is the gig. Like, we're going to do this, and we're going to build, because this organization, EXP, actually gives you guys the same opportunity we have. I don't get a better split. I don't get a better system. I don't get nothing. You and me are on the same splits, get the same. Everybody in here can build something bigger than Gil and I are building. All you have to do is make a decision that that's what you want to do. And that's why we love a multi-level model. But here's what you're going to hear about multi-levels, okay? So I'm going to give you a little kind of education. Who's familiar with a multi-level model in general? Pretty familiar? Okay. So just so you know, it's nothing, these models aren't new. You've heard of Amway Arena? What do you think Amway is? It's a multi-level. Okay, they used to sell soaps and lotions, and right now, what are we hearing about? Every single day on Instagram, I see a Monet. Every girl is selling Monet. Guess what Monet is? It's a multi-level. So was Mona V. So was Herbalife. Thrive. What else? Any other ones that Verve? Yeah, Verve. Forex trading. So, man, if it's a pyramid scheme, they're in trouble because pyramid schemes are illegal. But it's not. It's just a multi-level. It's a great system. There's a reason that they use this system. Okay? Here's the reason most people don't like multi-levels. It's either because of the product that's being sold or the person selling them the product. The actual model, the multi-level model, is the most powerful model. It's the only model that allows you to make more money than me. And when somebody says something to me about, oh, this is this a pyramid? You know, a pyramid? I say, well, you know, every company's pyramid shaped. You know that, right? I said, what does every organizational chart look like? This is what every org chart looks like. Only problem with this model is this owner, president, makes all the freaking money and the money flows up to that person. But this person here can't make more than that person. Don't tell me about pyramids. Every company is a pyramid. This is the only model that allows you to build something bigger than everybody else if you choose to. So the model is powerful, and what they did with EXP was brilliant. And this is coming from somebody who's, I've been in 4 multi-levels and I sucked at all of them. You know why? Because I didn't believe in the product. At some point, I'm just selling some product, right? And at some point, it becomes a little bit of a credibility mismatch, doesn't it? Right? So let's say I decided to sell some women's shampoo, right? I sold Monet. So Eric, I got to come to you. One day I was a realtor, and now I'm a shampoo expert. Just overnight. And I got to get you to buy something that you might or might not want. And in your case, you probably don't. Okay? Because it's women's shampoo, right? So he's like, actually makes my hair silky smooth. So yeah. I can tell you got some nice hair, man. But here's the deal. That's a credibility mismatch. What EXP did that was brilliant that you guys have to understand, and you wouldn't understand it unless you've been in other multi-levels, is they just attached the power of the model to what we were already doing. You don't have to sell a thing different. Go close deals. Go sell real estate. And by the way, you were already inviting your friends to the company. Stephanie, you got invited here before we were EXP, right? You were with us when we were Exit, right? We've been doing this the whole time, just nobody's been paying us to do it. All EXP said is, why is the agent at the bottom of the totem pole? Why are they not the ones getting paid for growing the company? That's all they did. And that's a freaking brilliant model. Oh, but they say all we do is recruit. Really? Let me show you guys something. Did you guys know this? Have you guys seen this yet? Go to Real Trends. Whenever somebody tells you, Real Trends magazine is a leading magazine that does the numbers on all the brokerages in the country and how they're doing. There's that. Guess who the #1 independent, the largest independent in the United States in 2019 was? EXP Realty. You see this right here? That's $36 billion in sales volume. This is not, they didn't do this by size of agents or recruiting. This was by sales volume. Here we are. We're beating Howard Hanna, Compass. You guys have heard of the company Compass. We're beating those guys too. So I don't want to hear about the fact that we're about recruiting, but I'm going to show you what the magic of it in a second. Okay? Here's another thing I want you to see. Same thing, Real Trends. 500 largest brokerages in the U.S. ranked by closed transaction size for 2019. There's Home Services America, Realogy, which I just want you to know who Realogy is. Okay? Realogy is all of these brands. Century 21, Coldwell Banker Commercial, Cochran, ERA, Sotheby's International Realty. And we're one behind them. So I don't want to hear it. Here we go. Hey, do you guys notice something here? What do you guys notice about this? That's right. Yeah. We're right here. Check this out. This is percentage change from 2018 to 2019. The first guy, Home Services of America, -4%. Right? They went from 346 to 329. Second one went from 337 to 325, -3.4. Oh, there's little EXP there. You know, we're just about recruiting, right? 73,000 to 130,000, 77.8% increase in sides. This ain't a joke. Okay? All right. So how do you become a business owner, right? A true business owner in EXP. You have the opportunity to build a brokerage without the liability or expenses. I want you to hear that again and again, right? You can build your business, your company right now in this incredible model. Building a downline pays better and costs less than owning an apartment building. It really does. Check this out. Okay, I told you about Jenna Encarnacion, right? She's making $5,000 to $10,000 a month. You know what you would have to do to clear $5,000 to $10,000? What you would have to buy in order to buy? Like if I were buying like an apartment complex, I would probably have to spend at least $1 million, because I need a multi-unit to get me that kind of money, right? Because if I was making $120,000 a year netting that, I'd have to have at least 30 units apartment complex. 40-unit apartment complex. So you first have to earn 1-point-something million. Then you have to buy the building, set it up, property management, so on and so forth. And then you might get a return like Jenna Encarnacion is getting in a year and a half of just introducing people to the company. You want me to, I'll divulge her secret. You know what she does? She goes to DBPR. She gets the list of agents that just got their license, and she invites them to a class. Shit's so hard. She's out recruiting me and Gil. It just happens to be that we just brought in big players, but she's kind of crushing us recruiting wise. She really is. I feel sad about that, but I got to work on it. It's the truth, guys. You know this. Or even an investment account. What would I have to do to make $120,000? I'd have to have a few million in there, probably $3 million to earn $20,000 a year. I probably have to have earned $3 million, keep putting that into an investment account, compounding over time for me to net the kind of money she's netting from introducing people to this company. That is crazy. You can do that right now. You don't have to have capital. You just have to open your mouth. You have to connect with people. And you can build an asset with none of the cost and more income. All it requires is your focus and effort. That's it. And we'll show you how to do it. Okay? One thing I'll tell you about is write this site down if you don't have it. Brent Gove Resources. That's G-O-V-E. Brent Gove Resources. You want to get some great videos on how to do agent attraction, how to build your organization? Go to BrentGoveResources.com. Okay? Now I'm going to try to play you this video so you can see how sexy the numbers can get if you decide to build this organization. Okay? So hopefully the sound plays. If not, I'll have to mess with it. Let's see. No.
So we're going to go to join.exprealty.com. You can come back here later. It's our company website. If you come here, there's all kinds of great.
So this is Brent Gove talking right now.
Investor relations.
Pay attention to this. This will get you excited.
Calculator and click on revenue share calculator. So what this is going to do is show you how revenue share does. Break it down. This is the part you gotta watch. It just blew me away. So we're not a franchise. We're a national company. And according to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, the average agent sells 6 homes a year. I've been talking about agents who sell 8 to 10. We're going to bring it back to agents who just sell 6 homes a year. What would happen? And then, according to NAR, the average sales price coast to coast is $275. The average commission is 2.5.
So this is if you recruit an agent that does an average of 6 deals a year, average price of $275,000 with an average of 2.5% commission.
I might get 475. So, and I sell way more than 6, and I'm sure a bunch of you too. Again, it'll just be better.
Who's seen this video already? 2 people?
So let's say the first year, just play along with me here. How many agents could you personally introduce to EXP? Could you do 5? I'm going to give you a 5-year plan, kind of like a 401k for real estate and an exit strategy. Not that you have to exit real estate, but how would you like not to have to work as hard as you've been working for all these years? So could you introduce 5 this year? Could you do that each year for 5 years? If so, in the 5 years, you will have referred 25 people to EXP. And in my example, I'm going to say who average 6 sales a year at $275 and a 2.5 commission. And then how many people do you think those agents get introduced over the next 5 years? What if they did 1 a year for 5 years? That'd be 5 in a 5-year period. And then the agents stay till even less, 3 in a 5-year period. Agents stay till even less, 2 in a 5-year period. That's like 1 person every 2.5 years. I'm really kind of dialing this back. Because you told 25, 20 unlocks level 5, and 25 gets you to level 6. However, you do not get paid on level 7. You must refer 40. You only did 25, so you're not going to be paid on level 6. So what this calculator does is it shows you your annual income, not one-time income, but your annual income with EXP through revenue sharing once you complete the above picture. Now people are like, what was the above picture? You personally referred 25 agents to EXP. Now I did 12 in my first 2 weeks. This is not hard to do. But 25 people to EXP in the next 5 years who average 6 sales a year, and they tell some of their friends, and tell some of their friends, it kind of compounds and accumulates out. Okay, and I always ask people, what do you think it'll be? And they're like, well, I don't know, like 80,000 a year, 180,000 a year. And one guy's kind of a math guy. He's, oh, no, it's going to compound. It's closer to 280, over $250,000. Well, here it is. I promise you, this is not broken. It's $2.1 million a year is your annual income 5 years from now with EXP revenue sharing. Once you complete the above picture, which is right here, what is this? Can you refer, if you want to make $2.1 million a year outside of sales, because now you're not just a salesperson. You're building a real estate company with EXP, with me, with the person who invited you here. So could you have 25 people? There's 2 million out there. Could you find 25 who average 6 sales a year, not a month, a year, at 275? Could you find those people? And then they tell some people who tell some people who tell some people. I went and did 25 in 3.5 months. I already have people that have done 5, 10, 15, 20, 23, 24. We haven't even plugged in any of those kind of numbers here. Again, you did the lion's share of the work. Nobody did anything like this. And there's your income, 2.1 million a year. Now, I was showing this to a friend of mine. He's like, hey, can you change that to 15? I go, sure, why? He goes, well, I'm not as outgoing as you, but I think I could tell 3 people this year. And if I did that each year for 5 years, I could refer 15, because I think this is more realistic for me. Like, okay, well, you lose level 6 because you take 25 to get level 6 revenue share. You lose level 5 because you have to refer 20. Referring 15 will just get you paid on 3 levels. He goes, yeah, show me that. This is more me. I think I could do this in 5 years. I'm like, okay, well, before I do that, you need to know it is nowhere near 2.1 million. And now this is a friend of mine. He's like, I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it. I go, well, don't go crying in your beer, because 655,000 a year is not bad. He's like, really? He's like, okay, I'm in. And he actually signed up and he's with me today. So if you'd like to make 655,000 a year 5 years from now, you just need to refer 15 agents to EXP who average 6 sales a year. Then each of those will start to tell people.
And you see how it compounds. So 15 out of those 15, each of those people get 5. That's why the number spiderweb so much. And we'll go through the actual model here in a second.
Agents that work for him. He said all my agents, they average probably 6. And this is actually sadly probably what my agents did. Sleepy little farm town. Because I think 10 of them will sign it. He's a kind of a cowboy. He's like a big barrel-chested guy. He goes, I think 10 of them will sign up for that deal. They called it a deal. It's pretty funny. And he goes, and I could see them doing this. He goes, what would this earn? And I go, well, you're going to lose level 4 because you tell 15. You're only going to get paid on 2 levels. He goes, yeah. He goes, I could see that happening for sure. And he's a 35-year independent. He goes, what would that earn me? I got to be honest with you. I was nervous to hit the go button. I'm like, what? 30, 40,000 a year. I've never done anything that low. Well, how's $250,000 a year? 251,000 a year. Talk about a 401k for real estate. Or you could just not try. Well, I'm just going to stay with my old company and sell my tail off. Really, that's why I love Keller Williams.
So you guys see how these numbers can spiderweb. This is actually Brent Gove. This is one of our upline. This is a guy who's in our bloodline, right? We can get him on the phone with big players. You know somebody in Texas or New York or some other state, because they don't have to be here. You know big players in California, and you're like, oh my God, you know, my friend's dad owns a brokerage with 100 people in California. Guess what? Let's get Brent Gove on the phone with these guys. Because I saw Brent Gove's check like 2 months ago. Well, he's probably more now. About 2 months ago, his check for the monthly residual was $487,000. He's been in the company like 4 years. That's what I'm saying. If you guys think long game, this ain't that hard. If you think you're going to get rich in 12 months, it's going to be hard because that's not realistic. And by the way, no business is like that. When somebody starts a regular business, not real estate, by the way, they spend a shit ton more money to start it, and they're probably not profitable within their first 2 to 3 years. With real estate, you could start your business for about $3,000 a year when you figure in MLS and all that, everything that you do. And in one deal, you can become profitable. One. And I'm not even talking revenue share. This is in addition to that, but that's why I want you to start thinking in 10 years terms. Hey, could I attract one person a month? That's 12 people a year. You're at 24 people by next year. Okay, and I'm going to show you how the actual system works. So this is the part that I think Eases wanted me to go over really so you guys can understand. No, because if you didn't know the first part, you're never going to do this part. You're never going to do it because you don't understand the power. So here's the deal. What EXP that was brilliant is rather than do a typical one-level model, which by the way, all these other brokerages are one-level model. There's broker and there's agent. The problem with that model is if you spend all these brokers, you want to get your broker license, you go start recruiting and you recruit 20 people to your company. The problem with that model is usually about 2 or 3 people are your big producers that make you all the money. And if they leave, you're done. You're done. Because all the rest of the people aren't really producing, right? And all EXP did was, let's add 6 more levels. That way, if I bring in those 20, but those 20 bring 2 people each, now I have 40 people on my second level. Now I'm getting paid on 60 people. And what if those 40 people also get 2 people themselves? Now you've got 80 people on your third level. And I'm getting paid on a shit ton of people, right? A little bit, but over a long time, all right? So here's how the system works. There's 7 levels that you get paid on. Here's you, okay? When you want to start your organization, this is how it'll work. You can go exponentially wide, means you can personally attract as many people as you want. There is no cap. Matter of fact, I would never cap this, and you'll see why, because that first level is ultimately important because it helps you unlock the 7 levels, okay? You do not get paid on all your levels right off the bat. You always get paid on your first level, okay? In order for you to start getting paid on your second level, you have to have 5 people in your first level. So when you get 5 people on your front level that are frontline qualified, this is why it's important that you sponsor people and make sure that they do production and deals, because they will not qualify to unlock a level unless they do 1 deal every 6 months with a minimum of $5,000 gross commission. So when you attract somebody to the company, it is your responsibility to make sure they produce. That's your squad. Because if not, they're not going to unlock levels. Now, they could still be a great recruiter, and they'll get you people into your organization, but we want to be able to unlock every level. So 5 unlocks your second level, 10 unlocks your third level, 15 unlocks your fourth level, 20 unlocks your fifth, 25 unlocked your 6th. Do you remember in that video I just played you how you said you're not going to get paid on your 7th if you only attract this many, right? So 25 opens up your 6th, and 25 to 40, you got to hit 40 in order to get paid on your 7th level. Okay? So we'll go over this in more detail right now, but here's what I need you to understand. Don't overcomplicate this. All you have to worry about is your front line for the most part. You need to, you personally, there's no stacking. A lot of people ask me, how do you stack people? You don't stack. You just put them under you directly. You work on your front line. It's the most important line, and you make sure you create leaders from that front line that are going to grow their own organizations. Because the magic of this model is going to happen in levels 2 through 7. You don't have to worry about these levels. These levels will be taken care of by the leaders you create in level 1. You understand? You don't put people. Now, you as a leader will have to help some people in these levels attract people too, because that's important to your organization. So I do meetings. I do 3 or 4 meetings a week where people are bringing me a person that they're going to put in their front line, but might end up being in my 3rd or 4th line. But those people are important. So I will sit down and make sure that they understand what, our group and whatever. And I'll show you some ways to do agent attraction right here in a second. We always say the first rule of EXP is we don't talk about EXP, right? It's the same way you do with clients. You got to care about people and meet them where they're at.
Who
2 Jeeps, black and blue. And we got a winner. Yeah, just yeah. No. Like a good upstanding citizen. Okay, so to reiterate so you understand this well, number 1, focus on your front line. Go exponentially wide on your front line. Every 5th person on your front line unlocks a level that you get paid on, okay? Until you hit 25. 25 unlocks your 6th level. In order to unlock your 7th level, which is actually your highest paying level, you got to hit 40. Okay? You're going to have a responsibility to these people that you bring in. You're going to want to make sure that they produce. Okay? And you want to make sure that they become leaders. Because once you empower somebody to build their own organization, they'll start filling up these levels for you. Right? Because what's your name? Charles. So Charles looks like a pretty sharp guy. So Charles comes in, he's my frontline agent, right? I make sure that Charles is going to produce and get his deal, is one deal every 6 months at least, but I want him to get a deal in the first 30 days. But I get him producing. And then he starts becoming a top producer. That's great. And by the way, I only make a little fraction on his deals. That's okay. But I also start showing him the power of this model. He decided. And then he brings in 5 people. Well, those 5 people are going to be in my 2nd level. And now I'm getting paid on all those 5 people. Okay? And guess what? Out of those 5 people, there'll be another Charles who'll be an all-star. And he might even beat Charles. He might get me 20 people in my 3rd level. So the reason I say the magic happens in levels 2 through 7, because you don't know who is going to meet the person that's going to meet the person who's going to meet the person. There's people in our organization that are all-stars, and I've never met them. They're in New York. They're in Chicago. We got people right now, Gil and I, in just a year and a half, we have Chicago, Oregon, Maryland, Nevada, New York. Now we're multi-state. It's like diversifying your portfolio. It doesn't even depend on who's here or even how the market is in my state. I find leaders in every one of those pockets, and they'll grow the organization. My job is to empower them. My job is to give them as many resources as possible. Does this model make sense? Exponentially wide, 7 levels deep. Okay? Okay. We talked about this, but we'll go over it again because we want that repetition. So how do you unlock levels? Okay. 40 wide unlocks all 7 levels of income. I'll be truthful with you. Gil and I, like I said, Jen has done a way better job recruiting than we have. Gil and I have about 26 frontline recruits, which isn't terrible, but, and here's the key, currently, and we're working on this, my boy Devin is about to become 11, but currently we only have 10 frontline qualifieds. This is why it's important to make sure that you're a leader to your people. You have a responsibility to make sure that they do well. That keeps the integrity of the system too. So when they say we're all about recruiting, we're like, nope, because this system don't work unless production. But so Gil and I right now are only getting paid on. So you guys tell me if I have 10 frontline qualified, how many people am I getting paid? How many levels am I getting paid on? If I've got 10 frontline qualified agents, how many levels am I getting paid on? 3 levels. Okay, so you guys got that. You guys are good. Only 3 levels. Okay? If the minute Gil and I hit 15, we could be that could be an extra 10,000 because the money's still there. It's just staring at us every month. And guess what? Eventually you'll get there too, where you're like, shit, if I can just find another agent and qualify that agent, I can unlock another level, which could mean another $5,000, $10,000 a month. Because once you build a big organization, that's what it is. Gil and I have people in all 7 levels. We're currently not getting paid on 4 levels. It's sad. If I was, I'd be flossing around here, okay? I mean, me and Chase will be out there getting in some trouble, wouldn't we, Chase? Okay, well, it's going to happen because that's the plan. That's the plan. But the numbers are still strong for us there, but we need to open up those levels, okay? So this is how you unlock levels. Now you understand, but guess what? You only have to really worry about your front line. Just continue to get front line, continue to create leaders, and make sure that they do 1 deal every 6 months to unlock your levels. Okay, so you want to know, how do the numbers work? A lot of people ask, like, What are the percentages? You want to know? You're a high C personality. You want to know the details? Take a screenshot of this. This is how the deal works. Okay. In your level 1, so when you attract somebody to your first level, the max you can make on a person per year is $2,800. There's a cap. Why? Because remember, if they this is assuming that they cap. So that means they did their $80,000 in gross commissions, and then they go to 100%. Company's not going to pay you once they start giving the agent 100%. So the most I can get on any person in my first level is $2,800 per person per year, and that's 3.5% of their cap. So if you were to take 3.5% of that 80,000, that's how you get 2,800, right? Now this is assuming they cap. Okay, this is the max you can make. Okay, so let's give you a math problem. Let's say for shits and giggles, you recruited 10 people who all capped in that year. How much money would you be making in residual income for the year? If you had 10 people who were all capped in your first level. Huh? Full cap, just 10 people. 2,800 is the max, they full cap. 28,000. Okay? That's 28,000 if they were all capped. So I'm just going through math. It's okay. So you can get right, wrong. It's okay. I just want to get you to understand the math. So if I got 10 people who are full cappers in my front level, okay, that means I'm making $28,000 in residual income a year, which, by the way, is better than most people's salaries. Just so you know. Okay? Now, let's do this math problem. Let's say those 10 people all recruited just 2 people. Okay? If those 10 people recruited 2 people, how many people would I have on my second level? 20 people. Okay? So I'm getting paid $28,000. Let's say those 20 people in level 2 are full cappers as well. So tell me what I would be making on my second level. $64,000 at plus the 28. So where am I at? $92,000 a year. Those aren't big numbers, guys. Like I'm saying, no, like I'm saying big numbers recruitment wise. I'll take $92,000 while I sleep all freaking day. But what I'm telling you is that achievable? Could I get 10 people, even in 5 years, even if it took you 5 years to get 10 people in your front line who were full cappers, who got you 2 people, I think it would be worth it to get $92,000 a year, even if you were getting paid on 2 levels with just 10 people. Most people would die. My mom's been working for a company for like 14 years, and I think she might make 37. I mean, this is crazy numbers, okay? So on and so forth, and as you can see, your 7th level pays. But once again, as you continue to build this, you'll have even more motivation because you'll be like me and Gil, where you're like just watching money fly away every month. And you're like, okay, we got to get on our game, okay? So how do I age and attract, okay? Same thing with clients, same thing with real estate business. Don't overcomplicate this. Make a list and check it twice a week. So in other words, the same way I teach you guys to make a list of all the people you know so that you have them organized so you can import them into your CRM so you can get real estate sales, you should be making a list of every agent that you know. Every agent that requests me on Facebook, I put them on my list. Every agent that requests me on Instagram, I put them on my list. Every agent that I meet at a networking event, I get their cards, I put them on my list. And I find reasons to connect. I had lunch with one yesterday. Like, I can't wait till this COVID shit is over. Because networking is my jam. I just went to one event like a week and a half ago, and I just look for the people who are my energy. I could tell, you walk into the room, blah, blah, blah. There was a group of ladies over there, and they're like, boisterous, and they're having a couple of drinks. I end up making friends with them. They're Moroccan. We start talking. I was like, oh, I've been to Morocco, blah, blah, blah. And then I got their cards, and then I reached out to them, say, hey, great meeting you. Hey, if you guys ever want to discuss opportunity, I'd love to just go out to lunch and just chat with you to see what your goals are in real estate. Well, one reached back out. I had lunch with her yesterday. And I can already tell she was supposed to be here today. She had a buyer's consultation, but she's going to be incredible. And I was like, dang, that's all you need. I already know she's a crusher. And by the way, her whole family's in the Moroccan government. Like her brother's a governor. They have people on the government. And I was like, well, and she's like, you know, I have this dream of doing like real estate internationally. I'm like, well, you're going to love this shit. Because if you have those kind of connections in Morocco, we'll talk to the expansion person at EXP and we'll open up Morocco and we'll do it through you. Because she can move big pieces with her family. But she's one of those people that doesn't want to rely on her family and her family's money. But when I told her about that, she's like, that's all day long. That was just from me making a friend. That's agent attraction, is just making a friend. Okay? Build relationships first. Remember the story. It's the same thing. I'm not coming to these people on an EXP pitch. Nobody here likes to be pitched. Okay? Everybody wants to buy. Nobody wants to be sold. But if you make a friend and find out what somebody's goals are, then you can tell them you can help meet their goals. If somebody comes to me and they're brand new and they need a new agent, you need coaching and development. I don't need to talk to you about this stuff. I need to talk to you how I'm going to get you in the program to make sure that you produce. But once you get in, rest assured, I'm going to start educating you on this because I want to make sure you don't miss out on it. Ask great questions. What are your goals for 2020? If you're talking to a big player, that's an easy one. What are your goals for 2020? What do you want to do? Find out what they want. Find a way to meet it. One thing you'll hear a ton is what? There's no training where I'm at. Nobody helps me. There's no coaching. That's an easy one. When they tell me, I said, "Where do you go? You know, how do you like where you're at?" Well, it's okay. Like I never go in the office. Nobody coaches me. Nobody trains. Oh, okay, cool. I was like, "Well, tell you what. Why don't you be my guest at one of the classes that we're doing next week?" I was like, "You know, get a sense." I'm like, "It's okay. You can be from another brokerage. Like, just come in." I invite them to everything now. Sales meetings, whatever. I just want them to get around the crew, the culture. The culture will close it. I love Figueroa team. They have a great culture. Like we all hang out together. Yeah. Hold on, where's my mask at? I'm on Figueroa team mask. I rep. Yeah, I rep it. No, but it's funny because we all joined up together. I had no idea what their culture was like. But then I started hanging out with them. I'm like, oh, these are my people. But you could sense it. I could walk in a room with these three over here, and I'll be like, my people. Let the culture close it. You don't have to do amazing pitches. You just have to get them in the fold. Invite them to the things that we're doing. Invite them to Veronica's backyard. I'm sure they'll have a little party or something, you know? Only if they're partiers, though, because, Veronica don't play. And then find a way to invite. I put this on it for the people in our office. We do have a office calendar. How many classes are you guys doing roughly per month?
It's 8 classes every month. First 2 weeks.
Okay. You got 8 opportunities to invite people to those classes. Everything.
He's actually a success coach. He actually sits with agents every week and reviews pipelines.
Use your resources. If I had Chase in my office, I would be like, hey, and I talked to an agent who was new and was like, hey, you know what? I was like, you really need a success coach. I was like, what if I set you up with a free success coach call, Zoom call with our success guy and then have him just do a call and add value. And then after he has value, he's like, hey man, we're doing a training tomorrow. Why don't you come through? And just kind of experience the office. That's agent attraction, guys. I don't know. There's no reason you shouldn't be doing it. Like it's really that, because I'm not telling you to sell anything. I'm just telling you that we have a great organization, and I just need you to start connecting with more people. It's the same thing with clients, the same thing with agents. Connect. I want more agent friends. And by the way, there's always been good reasons to be friends with agents. I never understood why people didn't make friends with agents. I've done 3 or 4 deals in the last few years that wouldn't have gotten done if I didn't know the agent on the other side. Agents have resources. Agents have off-market deals. Make friends. Dude, I love being able to call up and knowing that Chase is on the other side of the call. Oh, just especially in a competitive market or something like that. I'm like, yo, Chase, I got somebody. What can we do? And guess what? He's going to work with me different than he works with everybody else because we're friends. Okay? And then leverage your mentors. Okay? You've got Eric. You've got Chase. You've got Veronica. Okay? You've got us. Right? You've got Gil. Leverage your mentors, especially. And what I would say is, the pro tip is always match people up with levels and what they want, right? So you're talking to a broker, hey, everybody's gettable. For Veronica Figueroa, big personality Figueroa, came to EXP. Everybody's gettable. Gil Ramos had the #1 exit realty office in the state of Florida. There's no reason for him to stop what was working unless he saw a bigger opportunity. Hey, you link him up with the person who has the big brokerage in North Carolina, or the person you know in South Florida, or the person you know in Tampa. You make sure, and guess what? If not, you can go to jkinder.com. Jay Kinder is one of our mentors making $200,000 to $300,000 a month. He'll get on a Zoom call with them, because we're all part of their organization. They have a vested interest in helping us grow. Okay. So for the agents in this office, you guys feel free to use this website. By the way, I created a website called jointdp.com. Talent development, TDP is talent development program. So jointdp.com. Okay. There's a couple things you can use resources on if you want. Number one, on this particular subject, I put one link called Agent Attraction. So /Agent Attraction. I put 4 videos there that are very useful. One of them is going to be that revenue share calculator video you saw. One of them is going to be a podcast that I did kind of explaining the power of the model. One of them is the model explained, which you all should have access to. And then one is a 7-minute explanation of the EXP model in general. So for somebody who's like, hey, I give them in succession. So, people don't want to watch a 45-minute one sometimes right off the bat. And another pro tip is don't just send out links to people. Make a connection first. So don't meet somebody and then send them the model to explain and hope they watch it. Don't do that. Let's make a friend first. Let's find out their goals. Let's build a relationship. It's going to take some time. But what game are we playing? The long fucking game. It's going to, hey, I'm sorry. There's no overnight. There's no, any success book you read, none of them are like, oh, I decided to go into business and then day 2, millionaire, billionaire. Just doesn't happen. And then if you ever want any resources about EXP Realty, you can go to that site. Another thing that you might want to go to for training purposes, I've recorded a lot of videos on how to write a winning contract, how to comp a property, all that stuff. So if you ever go to jointdp.com/videos, if you ever need some training, and you guys can feel free, I use it all the time with agents when I'm working with new agents and I want them to kind of always have agents try something first so that they can work with it. So watch this video, write up the contract, and let's talk about it after. So you can use that too for your resources. Another thing that you might not know, did you guys know that you have a dedicated link for Agent Attraction? That you guys have your own link where people can apply under you? It should be your first and last name. That's me, Robert Davidowitz, .exprealty.careers. So whatever name you gave EXP as your real name, it will be your first and last name .exprealty.careers. And if you want to just take a picture of this, this is what I will send somebody when they're ready to sign up. I will say that the best way to sign somebody up is next to them, just to make sure that they don't put the wrong name in the sponsor, which just happened to me the other day. When I'm going to kick myself in the butt, I gave him these instructions. He didn't read my email. Somehow couldn't find me because I'm Bobby, and he didn't look for Robert, and he put Gil's name, and I was like, I had to call EXP. We had to do a change of sponsor thing. It was bad. Okay. So this is what I will send them. I just give them a simple instruction. Here's my link. Click apply as an agent. Begin filling out your independent contractor agreement. And then I kind of explain what they're going to see. Okay. But you guys should know this now. You guys have your own link. And guess what? When they sign up and they put your name, you get an email saying somebody's put your name in as a sponsor. And now you know that they're in the process. Okay. Passive income, your plan to wealth. So one, EXP stock, obviously, just produce, become an icon agent, build your wealth through EXP stock. Build your residual income with revenue share. Okay? We already just talked about that and how powerful that is. Buy and hold real estate. You can flip too, but I'm just saying long-term income producing, right? A lot of my commercial investors, they buy and they're like, I'm never selling. These are just income, these are just money machines. I'm not selling. Right? I'm just buying properties and holding on to them. A diversified investment account. Okay, we already talked about that. Read the book Unshakable. I think you need to be thinking about that. And then other stuff, like I just invested in something. It's like a venture capital fund on real estate. Like if you research something, I would just say this, whatever you put your money into, research the hell out of it. Right? And make sure you're dealing with credible, if it's not one of these kind of more safer investment vehicles. So this is the word of the day. are the 2 words of the day. It's a long game. Okay? It's the long game. It's hard to become wealthy because it's a long game. But if you start now, you'll be there before you know it. And I'll leave you with this. It takes 10 years to be an overnight success. So start now. Nobody you see that's doing well started yesterday. Everything you see, they've been doing for probably 10 years. Okay? So when you see Gil up here, you see Veronica. Hey, you've heard Veronica's story. Didn't look too good at the beginning. Matter of fact, it didn't look too good in the middle sometimes. But she kept fighting. She's a fighter. Gil's a fighter. I'm a fighter. You guys are fighters. You guys are soldiers. And that's it, guys. Any questions?